Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. Good evening. I hope and pray that you and yours in YouTube land are happy and healthy, safe and well. Right now the time is approximately 11:27 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date is Sunday, December 6th, 2020. The moon is waning in Virgo and the sun is transiting in Sagittarius. I wanted to do a quick little video talking about all the books that I'm currently reading. For the record, I usually read multiple books at the same time. There are two that are not here right now, and I want to start with those first. So I'm going to go to my trusty Goodreads account. I love Goodreads. I love Goodreads a lot more than I expect. I mean, I knew I was going to enjoy it, but I'm really digging it. So one of them is called Vadriel Vale by Vincent Virgo. It is a gay-themed Gothic turn-of-the-century novel. It is set in New York, and it is the sequel to Gaywick. Interestingly enough, and this is not really much of a spoiler, the two main characters of Gaywick are featured in Vadriel Vale. And no, neither one of them are named Vadriel Vale. It's a really cool book. I don't think Vincent Virgo wrote anything other than Gaywick and Vadriel Vale, although I haven't really done a look in a while, so I'm going to need to do some research and take it from there. The other one that I'm currently reading but I've put on hold is called When They Call You a Terrorist, a Black Lives Matter memoir. And it was written by Patrice Kahn-Cullors, who is one of the co-founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. And the reason why I put reading that book on hold is because I got to the chapter that mentions the killing of Tamir Rice. Tamir Rice was 12 years old when he was killed by a police officer. Tamir Rice was black, the police officer is white. And I don't know why, but it disturbed me and saddened me and unsettled me. And I remember thinking, you know what, I need to put this book on the shelf for a little while. That was more than a year ago. I am going to finish reading that book at some point, but I needed to put it on the shelf for a while, literally and figuratively. For the record, there are very few books that I've read where I'm like, I don't want to finish reading it, but I'm going to finish reading it regardless. But I must say, John Grisham is an incredibly talented writer, but I have noticed that in all of his books, at least the ones that I've read, or at least tried to read, I never make it past the prologue. Usually either a page before the last page or 2 pages before the last page of the prologues, I'm done. Ironically, the motion pictures that are adaptations of his novels, I love. I haven't watched all of them, but I definitely watched Runaway Jury and loved it. Runaway Jury I've watched 3 times. It is that excellent a motion picture, and I love it. I haven't watched all of his motion picture adaptations, but the ones that I have, I love. I wish I had that much love for his novels. Brilliant author, talented, excellent writer. I don't know what it is about his novels. I wish I did. But, that being said, but I do admire his work. I love his works. I really wish that I could get into his novels. And, you know, I mean, his genre of novels are one of my personal favorites. I love psychological suspense thrillers. I love legal thrillers. I love political thrillers. And, I don't know. But anyway, now the books that I'm going to start with, and I'm going to move a little bit closer to the camera, but I'm still in frame, correct? Okay. Because the table is here, and I want to make sure that, you know, I do it also. So the books that I'm going to start with, I've shown you in previous videos between August and the current. So I'm going to start with A Witch to Remember, and of course, Drake, also known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos, is going to do close-ups. So this is A Witch to Remember, which is the 9th and final book, in the Wishcraft Mysteries by Heather Blake. Now, I love puns. I love puns a lot. And I want to show you, I want to read to you all the titles of the Wishcraft Mysteries by Heather Blake. So, we have It Takes a Witch, A Witch Before Dying, The Good, the Bad, and the Witchy, The Goodbye Witch, Some Like It Witchy, The Witch and the Dead, To Catch a Witch, and of course, A Witch to Remember. And I love the fact that it's the 9th and final novel in this series, because in many numerological systems, 9 is the number of completion. So it makes sense to complete a series of novels with the 9th one. For the record, she had written on her website that she was offered money to continue the series, but she's like, no, it's time. I'm happy where the characters are, and I want to leave it at that. And you know, that I admired. I admired that a lot, because you know what? I get it. You know, sometimes we need to put the end on something. Sometimes we need to say, you know what? This was good for a while. I want to focus on other things. I want to move on to other projects, but I need to complete this first. And that really impresses me. I'm currently at chapter 25. I anticipate finishing the reading of this book very soon. And I love it. Now, for the record, I don't remember I don't know all of the motion pictures who inspired these titles. I mean, of course, you know, The Good, the Bad, and the Witchy, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, The Goodbye Witch, The Goodbye Girl, Some Like It Witchy, Some Like It Hot. But some of them I don't remember. I don't know, actually. Like, for example, It Takes a Witch, don't know. A Witch Before Dying, I'm not sure. But A Witch to Remember and Affair to Remember. That one I do know. Anyway, so, and of course, recently I showed all of you Forever Charmed by Rose Pressey, book 1 of the Halloween Level series of cozy mysteries. And I'm really, really, really getting into this. I've begun devouring this novel unintentionally, and I will tell you why. Because, I mean, the fact of the matter is that my intention with this series of novels, because the lead character's name is Halloween, as in Samhain, those of us of the witchy, pagan, and Wiccan persuasion, you know, it's like, of course, you know. But I want to make it last, at least until Samhain 2021. I'm currently at chapter 21, and there are currently, how many? I think it was in the 40s. Yeah, 49 chapters. This is where I am with this. I don't think I'm going to make it until Samhain. I don't think I'm going to make it until Beltane by up next year if I keep reading at this pace. So I want to like put it on the shelf a little bit, or hold back a little bit to the best of my ability. Although, as you'll see shortly, that usually does not happen with when I'm reading a certain book. When I enter the devouring stage, that's all she wrote, baby. This is one of the few books written by somebody other than Dr. Catherine Ponder, whose books I love. This one is entitled Miracle Power Take 2. This is entitled Miracle Power for Infinite Riches by the late and great Dr. Joseph Murphy. And I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the cover of this book. I love this book. Love the treatments, love the wisdom, love the guidelines, love the anecdotes, love everything about this book. I've read only 1 or 2 other Joseph Murphy books, but this one, because it was the first Joseph Murphy book, I really love and adore. Now, talking about devouring a book unintentionally, we're going to start with Valley of Shadows by Stephen Cooper. This is one of a handful of books that people sent me when they were doing research on having certain people read and review the books. And, you know, I need to do something, and I do apologize for doing this publicly. Drake, I need you to pay attention to me. I need you to do the close-ups. This is now the 2nd time you've done this today. I need you to start making sure that you are mindful of the close-ups. Please do that. Okay? Thank you. This is Valley of Shadows by Stephen Cooper. It is, I believe, the 3rd in the Gus Parker and Alex Willis novels. And this was presented to me by somebody who had done research on like having people read and review copies of their books. And there is a character who actually is a psychic medium. And I will tell you, I normally don't like to begin series of books out of order. It's a thing with me. It's a big thing with me. But I was just so honored to have been approached by an individual at the publicity company that handles this book that I was like, absolutely. And my original intention was to do 3 videos on this book. Look at where I am at this book. I'm at chapter, what is it? Chapter 35 of, 41, 42, 43, 43 chapters and acknowledgments. Yeah, I'm not doing 3 videos on this one book. That was my original intention, but now it's going to be one book, one video that I've already done, and then, yeah. And then, same publicity company, Divorce is Murder, a Vancouver Island mystery, a Toby Wong novel by Elka Ray. And I want to tell you, I began unintentionally devouring this book as well. Now, for the record, Toby Wong is a novel. She is half Asian, half Canadian. I'm remembering that wrong. But her mother's a fortune teller. Specifically, she reads tarot cards. And I really dig her character. So yeah, so these were unintentionally devoured. And I will tell you right now, those are books that all of you have seen. I want to show you 2 that I have not shown you yet. This one is called Moon Power by Lori Reed. How to Harness the Magic of the Moon to Improve Your Life. And I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos do a close-up of this stunning cover of the book. It is just a gorgeous cover. And now I'm going to have him do a close-up of the back of the cover, back of the book design, which is also just as gorgeous. And now, or in a few moments, I'm going to show you something that I happen to love about the cover of the book. And it is this particular symbol in particular. And I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of this particular logo. And then, he's telling me something, but I'm not getting it. You did a close-up. You sure? Okay. What I love about this is that it is also the design in the end papers. A little more basic, a little less detailed, but it is still like the basic design. And it's on these end papers and on these end papers. And of course, because it is entitled Moon Power, and because in magical traditions Monday is the day of the moon, I only read this book on Mondays. And the other book, which was a beautiful gift, is entitled The Sophia Code, a living transmission from the Sophia Dragon Tribe. The Sophia Dragon Tribe by Kaya Ra, who has an amazing YouTube channel with these amazing activations, initiations, meditations, healing initiations, healing treatments, etc. But this is the cover of the Sophia Code. And I will tell you, it is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book. It is not your ordinary goddess book. It is not your run-of-the-mill goddess book. It is not your everyday goddess book. And I really, really love what she teaches, what she shares, what she offers. But this is a book that I read very infrequently. But I absolutely love this book. And I do work with it. I do read it infrequently because it's very vast. It is a very energetically powerful book. Now, before I go to the next books, I'll take a sip of my coffee. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so, as you may remember from my Philadelphia vacation, 3 wonderful books found me. First of all, how could I not buy a book entitled Bibliophile? And I love this book. I'm not big on hardcover books, but I love this hardcover book. I love the satin bookmark. I love how it has different sections on beloved bookstores in the country and different types of topics like books on essays, books on poetry, space and aliens, dystopia. I'm a big fan of dystopian novels and television series and motion pictures too, but not as much as books and TV series. And that I purchased at a wonderful place, which I don't remember the name, but I will include in the description box. Just remind me if I don't. And of course, I specifically told Philly H. Giovanni's room on their Instagram account that I would buy this book in their store, and it is called Queerbook. And it is a wonderful collection of essays and poems, short stories, and little snippets of different types of literature. And I especially love the fact that when the book was first compiled, the store had been closed to the public because it was deemed non-essential during the massive initial outbreak of COVID-19. So I'm so happy that I was able to buy the book at an independent bookseller where it was sold and published when it was reopened. I have 20 pages left. So yeah. And then when I went to another independent bookstore, also in Philadelphia, Harriet's Bookstore, named after the late and great Harriet Tubman, I found Octavia's Brood, science fiction stories from social justice movements, co-edited by Adrienne Marie Brown and Walida Imarisha. And this is the cover of the book. I love the cover art. And in case you're wondering, the different symbols in the black woman's afro and face are symbols that are attributed to all the short stories. So for every symbol, there was a short story associated with it. Now, I don't know why it kept drawing me. So I'm like, who's Octavia? Because initially I thought that Octavia's Brood was one of the short stories in this book. No. Octavia's Brood is named after Octavia E. Butler. Octavia E. Butler was a black woman who was also one of the first science fiction writers, and I'm pretty sure that she was the very first black female science fiction writer to win an award. So of course, I needed to buy one of her books. And I was doing research about her different novels, and I discovered that Kindred has one of my favorite themes in science fiction, time travel. So of course, I purchased these two books. So Octavia by the late and great Kindred by the late and great Octavia E. Butler. And I found a graphic novel adaptation by Damian Duffy and John Jennings. So now for those of you who happen to have read Kindred, it follows the same structure. So what I will tell you is that right now I'm currently at the fight in both this and this. And I read them the same day. So when I read the fight, on the same day I'm going to read the fight in this one. I believe the next one is called The Storm. Yes, after the fight comes the storm. So when I read the storm in this one, I'm going to read the storm in this one. Now I will admit, full disclosure, I received this first, so I began reading this first. So when I read the fight in this one, I will then read the fight in this one. When I read the storm in this one, I will then read the storm in this one, etc. And those are all the books that I'm currently reading at the same time. Now, I will tell you that one of the things that I found recently, and this is perfect, so I want to show you, this is chapter 25 on page 282. Oh. So I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of this. This is a magnetic bookmark. It's called, the name of the series of bookmarks is called iClips, as in eclipse, but it's spelled lowercase I hyphen lowercase C-L-I-P-S, iClips. And this is what the back of them look like. This is a new series, by the way. They're the chakras. Now, you must be thinking, well, don't they come in a set that's an even number? Yes, they do. So, because each set of iClips has 8, the 8th chakra iClip is a white lotus flower, and underneath it reads, Namaste. I love that. I love that. And even though I already have one set, I did make it clear to the people to whom I send a wish list of what I would love to receive as gifts for the holidays and for my birthday, that I would love to have another set. They have different designs. I have seen Parisian-inspired designs. I've seen unicorns. I, of course, have the unicorn set. I have the cat paw set. I have a butterfly set, I have a black cat set, and I have a set that has different kanji symbols like dream, love, laugh, and I forgot what the other one is. I also have a series that has Celtic knot designs, but yeah, pretty much, I think every style of eye-clips designs that I love, that resonate with who I am and what I'm all about, I have. The black cat ones and the paw print ones, I have 2 sets each, but I'm more than happy to receive a third. So yeah, so I'm like, and I really dig them because number one, and I'll just give you an example. So when I purchased this copy of Miracle Power for Infinite Riches Used, and it came with this particular bookmark. And I will tell you that as much as I love these kinds of bookmarks and this style of bookmarks, and I'll show you another style of bookmarks that I love, which is this one. I love these. I love the detail, the tassel. I love these. Unfortunately, they slip out. And sometimes all too easily and actually a lot of times in my experience, all too easy and all too often. So I don't like to take these with me. And most of the books that I read, I always take them with me. I mean, there are some books that I'm never going to take with me. Like this hardcover, it's not leaving the apartment. It's staying here. I'm only reading it here. I only read it in this chair, in fact. I never even take it to my bedroom. It's like I only read it here. But I definitely love how the iClips magnetic bookmarks work so well for me. They really do. And they're perfect. And I can put them on other things, but I almost always use them for books. But yeah, that's why I love the iClips, and that they have one that has the chakras, which is their newest design. I was just like so happy about that. They also have a Tree of Life design. It's actually a tree, but one could call it a Tree of Life design, which has these muted color backgrounds, like this muted green, muted beige, and I love them. They're very beautiful, and it's a simple design, but it's so elegant in its simplicity. But I really do love them. So in the meantime, YouTube, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. I hope and pray that you enjoyed learning about all the books that I'm currently reading. And I wish, and of course, thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, all the subscriptions. And especially thank you to all of you who have been scheduling your sessions, especially an in-person reading or a phone reading or a video reading or an email reading while I'm at Notions and Potions this Friday, December 11th through next Sunday, December 13th, 2020. I wish all of you and yours many peaceful and prosperous blessings and a divine avalanche of abundantly bright blessings and magical miracles. Good night, and stay tuned for the next video.